This is a summoning.
We are summoning. We are here to summon.
Welcome to More Than Missionary. We are your hosts, Christina
and Ashley.
We wanted to do a mini episode this week on the BookTok community. So we are summoning BookTok, in particular spicy BookTok community, which is kind of I'm in that side of BookTok, you know, like I'm on that spicy side of BookTok and the fantasy side of BookTok, which sometimes can coincide with each other. What about you, Ashley? Where are you at?
Is there a different community?
I feel like there's like these little sub communities. Like there's like BookTok, but then there's like ACOTAR BookTok, right? Like ACOTAR, like A Court of Thorn and Roses, mm-hmm. right? And like all of the videos that pop up for me on my FYP after I read that book was solely based on like that fantasy series.
Okay.
And then there's also the spicy side, right? Like the dark romance girlies. I would say you are a dark romance girly. I dabble into the dark romance novels for sure. Hunting Adeline. And I feel like the one thing that I would have to say in general, though, about our BookTok communities, at least on like the spicy side or like the dabbled spicies, is that we are a very feral community.
Yes,
like you go I love that when you go on TikTok and you look at some video of some like hot dude. I was just talking about this, right? Like some hot guy that like pops up and he's like shirtless with tattoos, and you look in the comment section and it's like somebody has summoned BookTok, and yes. It's like, or like the BookTok summoning or whatever it is.
But we make those thirst traps famous.
Yeah, like it's because of us. It's because of BookTok that they become famous. We're like, hey, you should cosplay this character, or like whatever it is.
We've become a menace to society. A complete menace. Everything now is BookTok. Everything. We sexualize everything.
We do. We literally
do. We take poor innocent biker boys.
Okay.
Wait, did you see that one of the biker boy where BookTok was summoned into his comments? And he was like a young boy.
Oh,
a young man. Okay. And he's like showing books of the Hunger Games. And we're like, oh, you poor sweet child.
Okay. I have an opinion about this.
There's some reservation.
There's a lot of reservation. Okay, first of all, the drama within the BookTok community, I try to stay out of it. I think it's sometimes I do find it annoying because we're like, hey guys, we're just reading books. But guys, don't sexualize children, please.
Yeah.
It goes without saying.
How old was he?
Like 16.
Stop it. No, he wasn't.
Like, I think he was young. And I'm just going to say this. Like, don't do that. Listen, I know we like to sexualize everything, but like pause off of that. Like seriously, that should go without saying. But so stop, let them maintain their innocence.
Did we not read Haunting Adeline?
Yes, but
keep the children out of this.
Save the children.
Save the children.
Seriously though, I mean, I do like how, like, they're just, like, will be attractive people that become summoned. I also love the people that actively cosplay.
Yes.
A lot of the characters, too. Like, some people will, like, kind of adopt it and be like, oh, like, I didn't realize I kind of looked like this cool character or whatever it is. Or I've read those books and I really like...
What about the artists that have blown up, though, due to BookTok?
Oh, like
Who's
yes.
Anarchy or
it's like, I'm totally spacing on it. We'll put it in the show notes, guys. I don't remember.
And Bryce Savage. Bryce Savage is
yes,
too.
Absolutely. There's another one I follow and her name's like Roki, I think.
Austin Grigio is like a good one for the BookTok girlies too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Some of these artists do like fabulous work. I am an avid Patreon contributor. Okay. I follow a handful of digital artists that do all this amazing artwork of all these book characters that I've read, that people have read, and it like makes it come to life. And you're like, I didn't picture it that way, but I kind of like that better than how I pictured it in my brain.
The one that you showed me of Zaid, was that
Zaid Meadows, that was a Patreon.
That was beautiful.
Her name is, I'll tell you what her name is later, but again, in the show notes, she does great work. A phenomenal, and it looks like hyper realistic too. I love the those. Patreon girl, like NSFW artwork. I love that. Not safe for work. If you're an ACOTAR girly like me and you're like, ooh, like the wingspan. The wingspan mattered on each of these characters. And this artwork, I think, did it justice. Okay. So definitely, Patreon follower of all of the like BookTok books that have been out there. There is this person that I follow on TikTok who does BookTok, who is on BookTok as well. And she is, I believe, Australian. And she does these, it's like crazy, weird, fucked up books that she's read, and like the little novellas, and they're like people like fucking doorknobs that come to life. Like literally the most ridiculous thing, or like it's the funniest reviews I have ever heard of these insanely like crazy weird fucked up erotica books that she's like, I read these so you don't have to. And she's phenomenal. So yeah, there's been a lot of like really great I feel like a great sense of community in regards to like reading, because reading is so, you're secluded when you read. You're by yourself. It's your own personal time when you do that, for a lot of people. But to be able to like have friends, even over the internet, on TikTok or whatever, who also read that same exact stuff as you is a very nice sense of community for readers, for me at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I feel like this year is when I really got involved in the BookTok community, and like my entire algorithm on TikTok is like a lot of BookTok stuff, and books that have been recommended for me to read. And I had like a goal of reading 20 books this year, and I actually am way over that. Now I'm at like 40 books from just this year alone. And I'm like, wow, like I know there are a lot of them are just fun reads. Yeah. But like it is still good for your brain, guys.
So I do I have to read 3 knowledgeable books.
That's
everyone's fun book, but I made an exception for Haunting Adeline because I couldn't not read the second
way
one.
That this is a spoiler. If you have not read this or you are reading this, just fast forward. It's fine. Here's the spoiler alert.
They couldn't leave on that.
They could not leave on the cliffhanger of her getting kidnapped. Like, that was fucked up. And I had to pick up the next book immediately.
I didn't. You know what's funny is I was like halfway through the first book, and I read the first book in 4 days to get through that book. It was disgusting how fast I didn't sleep.
Yeah, you devour it.
I just didn't sleep for like 2 days.
I was so excited that somebody else read this fucked up book besides me. Like, I was like, I have no one to talk to about this.
So I read it, and I was like halfway through it after day 1 of reading it. Yeah. And so I just went on Amazon and ordered the second one and had it primed to me, because I was like, there's no way that I am not going to read the second book right away. If I'm already halfway through the first book, I'm going to have to order it. So I just ordered it. So I had, thank the gods that I had.
Bless the gods.
Thank the gods that I had done that, because I finished that book and I was like, fuck you. How dare you end on that note?
Yeah, that was bullshit. Yeah, it was some bullshit. And I feel bad for people who read that book and didn't have the second book like available to them because it wasn't written yet or something.
I don't watch TV, but like that's somebody's equivalent when the next season isn't out, when you
like when it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
The cliffhangers on TV shows or books is still the absolute most gut-wrenching. I just finished Iron Flame, which is the second installment of Rebecca Yarros' Fourth Wing series. There's supposed to be, I think, 5 books in this series. So I just finished the second book that came out like a couple weeks ago. Kind of ended on a cliffhanger. The first book definitely ends on a cliffhanger. And the second book kind of ends on a cliffhanger, but it ends on the most gut-wrenching information about the main character. And you're like, I don't know how the F Rebecca Yarros is going to continue on with this series right now, because of just the doom and gloom I see in the potential upcoming book that she has yet to write. Really trying not to spoil anything. It's just, holy shit, it's like one of the best books I've read, but it is a hefty read. It was like, I think it was like 600 and something pages. There were like 64 chapters. It took me a hot minute to read. I normally can I read the first book, I think, within 4 days. This book took me like 3 weeks to finish.
Even Haunting Adeline is like, what, 600 pages?
I actually don't know how many pages Haunting Adeline is.
It's like 600 pages. It felt like a very fast read.
It was a fast read. That one was a fast read.
You know what, though, now that I think about it? For every chapter, there's a letter from Grandma's journal.
Yeah.
So I guess it would not be that many pages.
You're right. It is. It's like 608 pages. Okay. Why does that feel like I read that book so much faster?
I read it really fast.
Fantasy novels, you have to have like a lot of backstory for the world building.
Okay.
And for hunting Adeline, that's more modernized.
Yes.
Day-to-day life. Like they live on Earth. Like she lives whatever in Seattle.
You don't have to think
you know what I mean? Like you don't have to think it's hard. Yeah. Not that you don't have to think hard in that one, because there's a lot of deep-rooted things in that novel series, yeah.
Deep-rooted, all right.
Yeah, for sure.
Deep-rooted.
But it's like when you're reading like a fantasy novel, it's like there's a lot of world building that you have to do, and you have to explain that, and sometimes that can drag. So like I feel like I'll take it in doses over devouring the entire thing. So it's definitely definitely a faster read for sure.
Okay.
But I will say, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame books are so good. The spice is not the same as haunting Adeline in any way, shape, or form, but it is spicy. There is so much tension between these characters. It is more of a slow burn type of romance within the first and second book, but the payoff is so worth it. It is so worth it upon getting to those like good chapters.
See, and I'm so used to like the Wicked Villain series,
which is like so much sex.
Yes.
Like, listen,
just,
our Lord
right
and Savior Katee Robert decided to write these books, and they're phenomenal, and I love them.
They're so good.
But it's a lot of sex, and I love that.
It's just like, here it is, here we are. Yeah. Let's go.
They are, those are phenomenal books. They are very fast reads because of it.
Yes.
I will devour those in like a day.
Yes, easy.
100%.
No yeah.
Which one's your favorite out of all the Wicked ones that you've read?
I personally really love the first one, actually.
Oh, the Hades Persephone one?
No, the Jafar and Jasmine.
Yes. Oh my God. Desperate Measures is.
Yes.
Oh my. That's my favorite one. Hands down.
Definitely relate to Jasmine, being a brat myself. I also really relate to Tinkerbell.
Mm-hmm. Tink's character is so good.
What's her real name? Tatiana?
Something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I loved her character.
Yes, I relate to her on like a crazy level just because me being a sewer too, and just like
didn't
being
they invite Meg over too? Yes. Meg was in that one. That that was like one of those. Oh,
she like realizes that she actually has friends, and like Aurora's actually
yes. Oh my God, so good. I honestly though, hot take, did not care for Neon Gods.
So I have not read that yet.
I
haven't read it yet.
All I have to say, I think it's a good book. I don't recommend the audiobook. Read it physically. I feel like I ruined it for myself by listening to the audiobook. And I'm not trying to knock the narrators, because like that's a tough job to have, to be honest. Like I could not do that. But it just wasn't for me. It wasn't it for me. It wasn't read poorly. It was just like, I think the accents that the audiobook narrators had really threw me off, and it was like not matching with what I think it is. I also read the Touch of Darkness series first, which is also a Hades Persephone retelling. And I feel like that's kind of how I pictured a lot of stuff in my brain already. So I like couldn't get into Neon God. So I would have read it in a different order if I could have, and I would have not listened to the audiobook if that were the case. But I'm very curious to see what you think of it upon physically reading the book.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna finish Hunting. We just started it, and then I have to read three brain books.
Do you like audiobooks? Do you like autobiographies or biographies? No. Yes. Really. No. Those are like my other reads. Like if I'm not reading like a fiction book.
I read a lot about healing.
Ooh, there's a couple like inner child books that somebody recommended to me, if you're interested.
A lot about quantum physics.
That's cool.
Quantum physics is really interesting to me. And a lot of self-development books. I
really love that you're like into like reading like those like essentially like a lot of self-help books, right? There's like I think I've read maybe one or two. I enjoy them. Like Gabe's, my husband has recommended some stuff to me before. There's one by Deepak. I'm gonna totally butcher this. Deepak Shah. Something like that. I'm so sorry. It's in the show notes. I have deeply apologized for my ignorance on this name, but it's like this like happiness book about like how to be happy.
Okay.
And I had a hard time getting through it because of my ADHD issues of like internalizing like those types of books for me. Mm-hmm. I've always had a hard time trying to like like maintain the information. But it is a very, very good self-help book. And it's actually not that big of a book either. And I'm pretty sure my husband took a class in college, and that's where he got it. And it was like literally a class about happiness. Okay. So he was able to like he has this book, and so if you're interested, you can read it. It's very good.
There's like a few self-help books that just like genuinely changed my life.
Yeah. Like which ones?
Outwitting the Devil.
Okay.
By Napoleon Hill. Mm-hmm. A Conversation with God. They're like they're literal conversations.
Oh, cool. Okay, I like that.
They're literal. So, some of it is monologue, and then the other part of it is actual conversations between God or the devil. And I really, really, really connected with Outwitting the Devil because a lot of these concepts I had already believed on my own before I had read this book.
Oh, okay.
So, and this book was actually written in the 30s. And it wasn't published, I think, until 2011.
Wait, what's this book called?
I could have that wrong. But Outwitting the Devil.
Outwitting the Devil. Yes. That's I mean, I'm kind of pulled in by the title itself.
So essentially, it's this idea that the devil is not a little man with horns and a tail. Mm-hmm. He's the embodiment of negativity. And how this negativity is instilled within us and how we consume it every single day. And that this negativity is basically rooting free thinking, and free thinking would essentially outwit the devil. So okay. Some of the examples that like I had already really had been in tune with was that as I'm drinking alcohol, I don't really drink alcohol. Yeah. It's a very rare occasion for me to drink alcohol. Like, this is not something that I do on, like, a normal Sunday. This is something I'm doing because we have a podcast.
Yeah, it's like a social thing. Yeah. Like, you're doing it socially, but not
even, like, when I go to the bars with my girlfriends, like, I might have a glass of champagne.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
But I just drink water. Like, I'll smoke a little herb, and that's it. Like, I just don't drink.
Yeah.
I used to smoke nicotine. I quit smoking nicotine.
Good for you. That's
thanks. Cool. And it was basically this idea that it doesn't serve us, right? It actually causes a lot of negative effects that addiction is kind of part of that negativity.
Yeah.
And so, addiction runs really high in my family when it comes to alcohol. So I just decided, like, it didn't serve me to drink. So I'm just really not going to do it anymore unless, like, I just need, little liquid courage to feel a little loose when we do things like this.
Right. No, I would have to agree with, like, if I needed to loosen up. Like, yeah I'm gonna have a glass of wine. Like, I probably wouldn't be able to do a lot of, like, at least starting out a podcast, like, as intimidating as it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like having, like, a glass of wine, like, okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. Within moderation, that's totally fine.
That, and then also, I just, I don't believe in public school.
Interesting.
I don't believe in the government.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
And then so I feel like our standards also for educating our children are very low. And so I just don't believe in public school. I don't believe in the government being in control of what our children learn.
I think there's, like, it's so hard because there's this blanket, like, way to teach children, and it's, like, each kid is just different.
That too.
You know what I mean?
That too. I believe that we've been teaching school the same way since the beginning of time, and it doesn't work for most children.
Yeah. I
feel like that our schooling system educates children to memorize and not actually use their brain. It's a memorization game, not a not a free thinking game.
Yeah, like the channels to go about, like, learning certain things is, like, I feel like not conducive anymore.
Exactly. So
kids, but
I just don't believe in it. Like, I plan to, like, if I ever have children, I plan to homeschool. It's something that's really important to me, and so reading that book, it kind of, like, confirms some of my beliefs that I had already had about how when we put our kids in a lot of these education systems, that we're ruining a lot of their free thinking. Mm-hmm. We're ruining their imaginations, and those are things that actually enhance us to be able to reach levels. I mean, we talk about this all the time in our spirituality, that, like, we are our own blockers for what we can manifest.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, it's instilled at a very young age for people to not be free thinkers and to go with the status quo.
And to not be dreamers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it kind of stifles that, and then it just another cog in the machine.
Yeah. So it talks a lot about like how where negativity is one instilled in our society very heavily. And it doesn't just talk about school, it talks about religion, how religion is equally bad when it comes to free thinking and being able to push ourselves to create our own lives because we're stuck down by the system, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then also it gives kind of his solutions, how he was capable of overcoming crippling fear as well as money issues and how he did that. And it's just a really, really good read. And then Conversations with God is actually the same thing but opposite. It's talking about more this idea of being grateful for the receiving before you've received it. So a lot of times people pray to God for asking. Yeah. Asking. Please do this. Please do this. Please do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say just Christians. I think we do it a lot of times with our own deities. We're constantly requesting.
Yeah. I think like even like asking the universe for like something that you want. Yes. Personally.
So the way that this book was described to me, or an audience base, I should say, is I follow a podcaster named Catherine Sakina. Mm-hmm. Go listen to her stuff. Her thing is called Manifestation Babe. I'm a huge follower of her. I love her so much. And she's actually helped me quite a bit level up like my own thinking. Yeah. But she recommended this book, and the way she talked about this book on her podcast was that if you place an Amazon order and you constantly call Amazon for that order, they will get real fed up with you constantly calling about said order.
Yeah, agreed.
A lot of us go about life that way. We're constantly putting in the order, constantly asking for it, constantly asking for it, constantly asking for it.
Yeah.
And then we're now just we're doing the asking and not the receiving. We can't receive because we're not in a place to receive. We're in a place of asking. So instead of asking, live in a place of being grateful. I'm grateful for that $1 million that's going to be in my bank account 2 years from now because I know it's going to happen for me. I've already decided it.
Okay, yeah.
It's going to happen.
What's the name of this book?
Conversations with God.
Conversations with God. Another one to put on my TBR list.
It's very, very
to be read list for sure. So
I love how we totally got off BookTok and just went straight to...
We'll start off, it starts off with something and then it evolves, like our brains do. But, I mean, circling back, I would not be as much of an avid reader if I hadn't discovered BookTok, that's for sure. And I don't know if that's how you refound your love of reading again. Community. Yeah, like I feel when I was younger, I liked books, but I wasn't an avid reader. It wasn't until I became, a woman in her late 20s that really started enjoying reading. And I have to thank BookTok for that. I think so. Thank you, other BookTok friends. You guys have made me feel very much at home and cozy and what it feels like to read a book cozy in my home. So thank you.
It's a peaceful thing now.
It's peaceful.
I love the BookTok.
So
even if we are a menace.
We are menaces, but we are here. We're here to stay.
We're here to stay. And we're taking over everything.
We are. I feel like I get a lot of advertisements now of like selling stuff from BookTok.
Oh yeah. Oh, yes,
from books and stuff, which I really want to buy, but they're so overpriced.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, like, I'm not trying to, like, put...
Well, we are going to make bookmarks.
Yes, like, I get it. Like, I want to make... Yeah, like, I will be participating in it. Yes. I do participate in it.
We will be participating in the capitalism.
Yes. We do live in
America. It's not capitalism.
We're in America. Yeah. Welcome to our podcast where we will sell you things. That's the whole no, I'm just kidding. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here, because
capitalism.
Believe me, we're not making enough money.
No, this is just for fun. We're having a fun time. But I think that, I don't know. I feel like that's a good end to our mini-sode on BookTok. Real off topic. It got a little bit off topic, but we tried. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. We have ADHD. This is how our conversations always go. I think
this is our number one concern, and here we are.
Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the shit show. Signing off.
This is Christina and Ashley, and thanks for coming in to listen to our discussion today. Till next time.